Alright, what's going on, guys? We just got done with the whole Cloud finding himself thing. So now he's back in our party. So this is where we are going to take a huge pause from the storyline, the main plot, everything that's going on. We're just going to put that on hold for a while. This is our first opportunity to really do a lot of stuff now that we have Cloud back, we have the High Wind. We're going to do a whole bunch of cool stuff right now. And it's actually going to take a couple parts. So if you're interested in just progressing through the story, you're going to want to go a few parts ahead, because all of this stuff is now going to be side quests and extra bonus stuff. So, this is where the game starts to get really exciting. We're going to get into a lot of exciting parts in the story, and we're going to start to really become powerful, or have the opportunity to become really powerful, which of course we're going to do. So here we are starting off. This is Mediel now. It's a complete wreck, and it'll be this way for the rest of the game now. So that lady that you saw me talking to up on top, if you talk to her in all of the shops, she will have everything that Mediel had before, all from her. If you only talk to her in, say, the weapon shop, which is what I believe I did, she's only going to carry weapons. If you talk to her in the weapon and item shop, she'll have both. So, the one thing, though, on the bright side is, if you forgot to, or you didn't, or whatever, there's the one girl off to the right who has the accessories. So it's really important that you talk to her in the weapon shop, but it's not necessary that you talk to her in the item shop, because it's not like there was any one-of-a-kind items there. But anyway, moving on now into all the good stuff. First off, we're going to head up to Bone Village. When you get to Bone Village, you're going to select, you're looking for good treasure, and you want to see exactly where I'm standing. That's where you want to be. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we did to get the Lunar Harp, except we're going to be getting a different item. So once you get into the correct spot there, we're going to start digging. And we get key item, key to Sector 5. So you might be wondering, what the heck is that? Well, that is a key card that will get us back into Midgar. Up until this point, we have not been able to get back in. If you try and get back in, it'll be locked. There's nothing you can do about it. Now we have the opportunity to go back into Midgar, and you might be thinking, why would we want to go back there? Well, there's some rare items that we can pick up, but we're going to do that a little bit later. Next, we're going to head to Nibelheim. Be sure that you have Tifa in your party, and you're going to go and play the piano again. And you're going to do the same song that we should have done twice by now. And after you get done playing it, you're going to have a little cutscene here. Tifa must be in your party when you do this. And you didn't see him, I think you only saw him a couple times, and it was during flashbacks of the Nibelheim story. But this guy used to train Tifa. He's the one who trained her to be a fighter. And inside this sheet of music is a letter that he left. And inside the letter came her final limit break, which is Final Heaven. So now we have Red 13, Yuffie, Tifa, Kate Sith, you can just get his whenever, and Barrett. You should have all of their final limit breaks right now. So the ones we're missing would be Sid, Cloud, and Vincent. So there's a few that we still have left to get, but here is Tifa's. After we get the final heaven limit break, I'm gonna leave. If you're already up to level 3 for Tifa, try and put it on if you can. Great. I don't think anywhere close to getting her to level 4 yet. Next, we're going to head into the Shinra Mansion. Be sure you got your ribbons on, just in case. We're going to head down to the basement. Head into that room where we saw Sephiroth the one time, and this is going to trigger a flashback. This flashback gives you a little more information on what exactly happened with Cloud and Zack. Cloud remembers who he is, but it doesn't really explain how it came to be where they went from the Mount Nibble reactor to Midgar, and this story will explain that. So now we kind of understand what was going on there, how things came to be in the beginning of the game. And then after that, we're going to head to the Chocobo farm. First thing you're going to want to do is talk to Billy, and you're going to buy some greens, buy the cheap ones, and I'd say buy about 15 of them. And then we're going to do what I showed you way back when we first came here. You're going to want to use the customize item list and move your greens all the way to the top item, because we're going to need to try and catch Chocobos again. Now this whole thing here, this is what we're going to do, or I'm going to start to do, is the whole Chocobo breeding process. This is a long, tedious process. This will keep you busy for a while. You're also going to want to have a lot of money. So what I suggest doing if you don't have a lot of money is to get one of your all materias mastered. If you get one mastered and sell it, you can get 1 million Jill for it. It's definitely worth it. You can master an all fairly easily, especially this late in the game. It's a lot easier to level things up. You can add your weapons and armor that have double growth for AP, and you can get that pretty quickly. So if you have a mastered all, sell it. If you need the money, it will get you 1 million Jill. That is what I ended up doing. It'll also should give you enough money to buy the villa at Costa del Sol if you want to do that. You're also going to want to buy stables. There's 6 that you can possibly buy. I would just buy all 6 right there if you have the money to do it. Then after we're all done with that, we're going to head to Medeal again, and just to the left there are some Chocobo tracks. This is where you want to start to try and catch a Chocobo. This is where you find great Chocobos. Now, throughout the world map there are tracks, and each set of tracks will provide different levels of Chocobos. In this area you can get great ones, but you can also get ones they'll be rated as not bad. So what we're going to do is catch about 4 of them, I would say. So that was just me running through the whole process again. It's fairly simple. You throw a green off, let him eat, kill the enemies. Once you catch one, just get off of it. It'll say, what do you want it to do? Say, return to stables. But remember, you do have to have stables rented in order for that to happen. If you just get off and you don't have stables rented, he'll just run away. Once you've gotten a few from Medeal, we're going to head over here to, as you saw, I was at Gold Saucer. So once you see Gold Saucer there, you're just going to go to the right a little bit, and there will be some more tracks there. This is where we're going to find the good chocobos. And just like on the other set of tracks, you can find good ones, but you can also find average ones. We are specifically looking for the good ones. And what I would suggest, one of the reasons why I suggested getting all 6 at once is because if you grab a, when you're moving the chocobos into your stable, you will not actually know what the sex of the chocobo is until after you've decided you're going to move it into a stable. So obviously, to breed, we're going to need one of them to be male and one of them to be female. So there's a chance that you'll find a great and a good, but they're going to be of the same sex. So if you can get multiple ones, then we can just take one of the goods that's a female or a great that's male or vice versa, and we can get rid of the other ones. But then that way we don't have to just go one at a time to try and find ones that or get lucky and get ones of opposite sex. So once you've grabbed a few from the deal and a few from the gold saucer area, we're going to head back here and see what we have. So to do that, you're going to select moving chocobos. So this one is not bad. That's not what we want. This one is great. That is exactly what we want. So we're going to put this one in one of our stables. This one happens to be a male. And for these first few, I don't really care what they are. I don't end up keeping them all. So I just label them so it's easier for me to know what I have when I'm racing and breeding and stuff like that. So I just name them what they are. So that was a great male, so I just named it Great M. You can name it whatever you want. So this one's not bad. We have no use for that. We're going to let it go. And that was the only great that I had. I didn't have any goods that first time through. So I had to go back to Gold Saucer and try this again. That one's pretty average. That's not what we want. There's another pretty average. That's not what we want, so we let that go. And there, that is a good chocobo. That's exactly what we want. I put it in the stable, but unfortunately it was a male. So then I had to go back again until finally I found a female good chocobo. So once that was taken care of, you have two options. What you can do is you can race them, which is what you more than likely will need to do. If you race them, they'll go up in class. All chocobos start at a C class. If you race them 3 times at the chocobo races in Gold Saucer, you will raise them up to a B class, and if you win 3 more races with them, they will go to an A class, and finally 3 more races will put them in the S class. I actually never go all the way to an S class when I'm breeding. It is not necessary, and I've actually had better luck getting what I want in an A class chocobo than an S class. So anyway, after that, you're going to need a nut to breed these chocobos. And for most of them, you're going to need the carob nut. So this is where you get it. It's just outside of Bone Village, and you're going to fight those red things. You're going to steal from it. That's where you get the carob nut. I wouldn't worry about trying to kill it. It has a lot of HP. Whenever you breed, be sure to save. always save right beforehand, because it's a random thing. It'll always be random what you get. So if you end up getting something you don't want, you can always just load your game back up and try again. Now, this actually saved me some time, and this is the very first time I've ever done this before. I have always taken my good and great Chocobos and raced them to a Class A. But I heard that even though it's rare, it does not happen a lot, you can get a mountain or a river Chocobo by breeding these at a C class. It just doesn't happen very often. You usually just get another yellow-looking Chocobo. So I decided to try it out anyway, because it's very time-consuming to race. It's very easy if you give them the right greens for it, but it does take a lot of time. So to save myself some time, I figured, what the heck, I'll just try this and see what happens. So when you're ready to mate, you select mating, you hit circle next to the two that you want to mate, and mate them with the carob nut. And then to my surprise, I ended up getting a river Chocobo. However, that is not what we want. We want this green one here. That is a mountain Chocobo. So I restarted, tried it again, and it still worked. And this time I got a mountain, which is exactly what you want. For starters, we're going to need a river regardless, but for right now we want the mountain first. The reason why, well, I'm about to show you here. So if you get the mountain, we're going to say riding Chocobos, and you're going to select the mountain. Now, if this does not work for you and you keep getting the yellows, you may have to race your Chocobos. What I always do is I go to the Chocobo stage, which is near the North Crater. I buy the most expensive greens. They're 5,000 a piece. It's a lot, but like I said, if you sell the all materia, you'll have a lot of money. You should have no problem buying a lot of them. And then I usually give about 8 to each Chocobo. Then all you have to do is head over to Gold Saucer, go to the Chocobo Racing, say that you want to race. It's very easy, you will win. It just takes a lot of time because you're going to destroy your opponents, but you have to wait for the second place finisher before the race can be over. So that's why it takes a lot of time, is you're usually staying there at the finish line trying to figure out, or trying to wait for all these other people. Anyway, getting back to this now. You have your mountain Chocobo. You're going to head to the continent that has Wutai on it. You're going to find a place to land. And if you notice, there is a cave off to the right, and that is exactly where we're headed. This is actually my favorite secret materia cave in the game, and you might think I'm crazy for saying that, because if you know anything about these, you know that the best, most powerful materia in the game is in one of these materia caves. But I love this materia. This is Mime, and this materia is pretty self-explanatory. It will mime anything that your character before does. So if your character does a regular attack and you hit mime, it will do a regular attack. If you selected steal and then you hit mime, your next character will steal. The only thing that it will not mime is their limit breaks, because they are unique and only to them. But other than that, it will mime anything else that you select, which is pretty sweet, and it also does not cost you anything unless you are using an item. If you're using an item, then it will take up one of your items. So for example, if you use a potion on your last turn and you select mime, you will use another potion, but it will cost you from your item list. But if you use a magic spell or a summon, it will not cost you any MP. Okay, now I know we're going through this fast. Next up, back to Nibelheim, and notice just to the right there is a waterfall. Well, now that we have our mountain Chocobo, we're going to get Vincent in our party. You don't have to equip him with anything, we just need him in our party. You're going to take that mountain Chocobo, you're going to go over the mountain, hop off and go to the waterfall. And this will start a cutscene for Vincent. Now, if you remember when we first got Vincent, he was talking about how he was in love with this girl and he failed to protect her. Well, this is the story, and this is exactly what he was talking about. It also explains how he became who he is now. If you notice, his limit breaks are very different from everyone else's because he turns into a monster. And so this little story cutscene explains all of that drama that happened before, why he has nightmares, why he found him in a coffin, so on and so forth. But what this will do is will get you eventually Vincent's strongest weapon and final limit break. You will not get it right away though. Now, from what I was told and growing up on this game, you do this in the second disc, and then in the third disc you come back and you pick up his weapon and limit break. However, and I still have not done this, but you can come back, I guess, after like 10 battles, kind of like Chocobo breeding when they need a break. And actually, I may have ended up doing it in this run, but I had never up until that point. So if you want the limit break and weapon sooner, just go into around 10 battles, come back, and you should be able to pick that stuff up. But for right now, we won't have it, but this is how we start the process in getting his weapon and limit break. So if you're a little confused at how the Chocobo racing and breeding works, I will go into more detail about that in future parts when I start to do it myself. But for right now, basically you just need to start this whole process. We're trying to get a gold or an ocean Chocobo. That is the best Chocobo in the game. And you have to start from scratch. So we're going to take the good and the great and breed them, and we're going to get a mountain Chocobo, and then we're going to breed them again and get a river Chocobo. We're then going to breed the two new Chocobos, the mountain and the river, to get a black or mountain river Chocobo, and then after that we will get eventually the ocean or gold Chocobo. And that will lead us to a very special item in this game. Now finally, before I end this part, this is on the continent where Cosmo Canyon is and Gungaga. We're going to take our mountain Chocobo, we're going to head up, and you'll notice there's this little area right here, there's the secret. This area is going to have tons of items for us to grab, and I will show you how to get all of those on the next part.